Hey, how's it going, everyone? Bobby Arneson. We're out ice fishing here again, close to the place I was last night where I caught a few trout, in about 10 feet of water, hoping to find some lake trout again. Pretty sandy bottom, got the Markham camera down there, can see real well, nice and clear down there. Took a while setting up today, was riding around, checking some other spots, digging some holes, just surveying the area, trying to get a feel for the terrain under some of the points of this island. But ended up coming back to a similar area, or an area that I was familiar with, because I wasn't really seeing anything too interesting where I was at. Was fortunate enough to open up the old buddy heater and found the ceramic panel broken out of it. Don't know if you can see that there. Yeah. Panel was busted out. So pretty disappointed about that. That's the third one I've gone through in about 2 years or 3 years. Now they just don't seem to hold up to the trips across this lake. Mind you, last year it was pretty rough. This year, not very rough though, and I had it in a bag with some styrofoam padding on some puzzle mats there for low padding in the toboggan. But still got whacked or something and broke out the panel. So I was looking forward to having some heat today to make it a little more comfortable. It's not bad, but and the weekend's supposed to get better, but still it would have been nice to have some heat. Last night there, my hands were getting pretty cold in and out of the water, but we will persevere. Of course, it was that left panel that broke out and not the right. So it does run, but only on high. And when you have it on high, there's still gas coming out of the broken panel, so you're going to gas yourself out, basically. If it would have been the right panel that broke and not the left, I probably could have ran it on low with the left panel, at least had some heat. But as it sits here, I can't use it, which makes me wonder if I can, on the fly here, move the ceramic panel to the other side here with what tools I have. We'll see. But pretty disappointed. Like I said, it can be pretty rough around here, but I don't know. I expected more in a padded bag and everything like that. And, you know, I've had lots of trouble with them starting and all that as well. Sometimes my fault, sometimes they just don't want to start. So, not the most reliable heating device, but there's not a lot of options out there unless you build a diesel heater, which I think may happen in the future here. Stay tuned. We'll carry on. Stay warm. I'm sure we'll be fine. Won't die. Just not as comfortable as it could be. But okay, let's get to fishing here. I'm going to go right back to that chartreuse tube jig I was using yesterday. And then I'll rig up a mackerel dead stick as well. Okay, so I got that mackerel down there on a dead stick. Took a little bit to get it down. It wanted to float. You got to puncture the swim bladders in them. It's just a little bit harder to do when they're frozen. When they're thawed out a little bit, it's easier to put them underwater and deflate that swim bladder after you've punctured it. When they're frozen, it doesn't really work as well, but managed to get her down there. Had planned to warm them up in front of the buddy heater, but that didn't work out. So we got a mackerel down there on a dead stick. And this chartreuse tube jig. Let's just see where that mackerel's at. I really like this Eskimo Escape flip over, the 2800 I have. But the seat mounts and this bumpy lake and the heater all together are not working great, to tell you the truth. I broke off one of the seat pivots already last year. Looks like this one is bent and ready to break. And I suspect the seat on this occasion, or maybe more than one occasion, has actually bounced up and might have whacked my heater there, breaking the panel. So even with the cage around it, it looks like it's bent. Oh yeah, it's out of place at the top too. Yeah, so I think that was the seat frame coming up and whacking it. Yeah. Just don't know if the flip over is the right thing for this lake when it's rough, which it's rough a lot. We're gonna have a good day, not worry about menial things like heat. So after having had my coffee and something to eat, I've been thinking about this whole broken heater situation, and I don't think it's the issue of the buddy heater and its durability. I think what's happening is on this rougher lake using the Escape 2800, the seat tend to flip up and down, bounce up and down. And since I've got this toboggan and this shack, I've broken 2 of these heaters. And I think it's not from the bouncing of the heater, but from the arms of the seats coming down and hitting it. I've even had to replace the one pivot tube attached to the seat frame because it broke off. The metal just snapped. And this one is actually bent and looks like it might snap too. So no slight against Eskimo. Obviously they make very good stuff. Might be asking a lot for this type of shack to be bouncing across long distances on this lake, which is usually rough from the wind and the dry snow. I've also noticed some of the screws having to being repeatedly tightened up, loosening off from the ride out here. So I like the shack, but I don't know that it's working for my purposes on this particular lake with the roughness that I often encounter. Now, some might say, like, why don't you just relocate where you put the heater? Well, with the seat frames and everything, there's only so much room, and I've tried many different configurations to try to protect stuff, but it's just a little bit tight for the amount of gear that I end up bringing out here. Perhaps, ideally, I'd have an aftermarket, bigger type of trunk mounted on my snowmobile, so I could hold possibly the heater in there. But regardless of all that, the seats are still bouncing up and down and wiggling back and forth in place and breaking off. So I may have to go back to a hub style tent and my other toboggan and save this for places where I know it'll be a little smoother and I perhaps don't need to bring quite as much gear. Although this is, for me anyway, this is more or less a basic setup. You know, you add all the camera equipment that's on the snowmobile and a heater and a trunk of gear and a fishing tackle box and your fishing rods, and there you go. That's all your stuff. So it's not like I'm carrying anything too extreme other than all the extra camera gear that the average person wouldn't be taking out with them. But nature of the endeavor that I'm attempting. And that being said, really, really appreciate all the support that's been out there. As of this date, I think we're over 21,000 subscribers on YouTube, which I can't, I got to pinch myself, I can't believe it. When I got up to 1,000 subscribers, I was over the moon. I thought that was amazing, right? Yeah, I've been struggling for, you know, a few years here and not having any, not a lot of traction, right? And then, you know, a couple of reels on Instagram, some shorts on YouTube, and you know, getting some of our material out there more regularly. Oh, here comes a big trout. And it just took the mackerel. Oh, it's a big one too. Trying to get this camera out of the way because it'll definitely get wrapped up on it. Oh, geez.
Oh, geez.
I'm going to have to pull him up the camera hole. Holy cow. What a mess when they get wrapped up in that camera. Oh, there we go. What a mess. He's about, I don't know, 31 inches. But, well, just reset now. What a disaster that was. Holy. It chomped that dead stick with the mackerel. Took it real good. Immediately wrapped around the camera cord. So I was doing the old tug of war under the ice with the underwater camera cord in one hand, fishing rod with the dead stick in the other, and ended up pulling it up by the tail out of the hole where my camera and transducer for the fish flasher is. But anyway, got it unhooked, 31 inches, sent it back. But yeah, what a mess. they fight so hard, and when they grab something or they feel resistance, they just go in big sweeping circles around the bottom of that ice and catch every line that's down there in the way. I got my other rod out fast enough, but not the camera. It turned into a bit of a rodeo. Yeah. So anyway, reset now and back to fishing. So I think before we were interrupted by that fish, I was talking about what to do with this tent and heater situation. So yeah, I'm not sure where I left off, but I think I'll switch my other toboggan and a hub tent, working on a diesel heater. But even if I was to use another buddy heater, it seems like when it was packed in a toboggan, how I had it before, I didn't have the same issues with stuff breaking it. And like I said, I think these seats flipping up and down is part of the issue. Just fitting all my gear in here in general has been the concern. And then the tent itself is kind of shaking itself apart on the trips, so it's unfortunate. I really like this thing, but might be a few too many moving parts for the type of trips I make on this lake. It's just hard out here. Wind's up a bit. I think with the wind it's supposed to be about minus 15 today, something like that. Warmer tomorrow, warmer the day after. Getting a little chilly. Had to take some steps to improve my comfort level or situation here. That is a little better, actually. Here's a rattle bait I've not tried in quite some time. Kind of a Cisco looking thing. I believe from High Caliber Lures. Haven't tried it in a while, so let's give that a shot and see if we can rattle in a big trout. Well, it's definitely not feeling any warmer out there. Oh, I just came in to a lake trout like charging at my mackerel, and then he ducked off, and then he just came up again at it from behind. Just kissed the tail fin of it. Oh, now it's going after my spoon. Oh, it just missed the quick strike. Holy cow. Doing play-by-play here. Oh, looks like he might have the quick strike. Yeah. Oh, do I have him or not? No, I'm just hooked on the bottom of the hole. Happens so often with these quick strikes. Oh, and frozen. Well, should be able to just drop it down there, see if he comes back for it. He did have it in his mouth and took off with it, but obviously let go before I could set the hook, or the hooks weren't in his mouth at all. Again, the hooks are kind of wide set, so he can bite in the middle and not actually. There we go. There we're. Oh, he might have just, again, he had it by the middle of the fish, of the mackerel bait. So, missing the two trebles right in between them. I'll put it back down there again and see if he comes back. This is wild, watching it on the underwater camera. Oh, he is coming back. Oh, I think he took another bite. Oh, I got him that time. The mackerel just hit the bottom of the ice there, or bottom of the lake. Gotta make up some line here. Jeez. Oh yeah. Fish is on. Oh, there he is. Not a big one. Another one in that 31 to 33 inch range. Nice one. Just do a quick measurement here. Oh, a little bigger. About 34 3/4. Put her or him back. Whew! That was exciting. All right. Another Laker, 34 3/4, that one. So a little biggest one I've got so far this trip. Good fight on it. Yeah, it was taking runs at that Mackerel dead stick down there for a few times until it finally got a chomp on the Mackerel where I actually had a treble and I could set the hook on him. So had one treble in the upper lip there and one floating off the side of it, and it got all twisted around it and everything, real mess. But they fight so hard. So geez, these things didn't want to work with the ice on them. To work on my grip strength there to crack them to actually open and close. Life without a heater, eh? Oh. I'm chilly, folks. I am chilly. Another lake trout sure would warm my heart. Freeze my hands though, but keep going back to that chartreuse heavy tube jig. Had a little bit of luck on it there yesterday. I'll have to get another one of those glow tube jigs I had yesterday that I lost. Boy, put it down there for, I don't know, a minute, and it was grabbed and gone. That was it. That was that tube jig experience with me. Hey, what I'd like to know is, what is your favorite fish to fish for? Up until about 5 years ago, I'd never fished for lake trout at all, and now they're by far my favorite fish to fish for. The fight, I like eating them. They get really big, so that's cool. But comment down below. Tell me, what fish is your favorite species to go after, target? I know we're going to get a lot of people saying walleye again. Walleye tastes really good too. But what else is out there in Europe, other parts of the States? Let me know. Just not seeing the action here that I saw last night around this time. By now I'd caught one of the 3 that I caught last night, but nothing so far. Fingers crossed. I want to try to get another 1 or 2. Geez, last night come out here for about 3 hours, catch 3. Here I'm out here for like 9 hours, caught 2. That's the way she goes, eh? Well, I guess I've only been fishing for about 6.5 hours now. In a little bit different spot. Did move a little bit over, so who knows, that could possibly affect it. I feel like when you persevere and you put in the hours, eventually you're going to get one of those big ones. It's if you keep packing up early and not going out as often as you could, is what holding people back from getting big ones. That's what I think. I don't think it's necessarily just being more skillful. I think it's just lines in the water. Time that's lines in the water. Because I'm an idiot. Like, there's a lot of stuff I don't know. If you've been watching the channel for any amount of time, you've seen a lot of failures, a lot of damaged equipment, and just nothing. There's just nothing this evening. Wow. Where are the fish? I want to catch a fish. Well, folks, that's going to do it for tonight. I did my best. What can I say? Slow day. Caught 2 lake trout earlier, smaller ones. I think I'm going to call it there. Like I said, I did my best to try to stick it out and hopefully get on some more trout, or maybe that big one that's down there somewhere, I'm sure. It just never worked out tonight. So I'm pretty cold, not gonna lie. Stuck it out for, stuck it out. It wasn't that cold out really, but it accumulated, let's say. I think it's about minus 12 or 14 with the wind or something like that, but degrees Celsius. But yeah, really appreciate all my subscribers. If you're new to the channel, I would really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button, perhaps the like button as well. It doesn't cost you a thing to do, but it makes a huge difference to those of us trying to produce this content on YouTube and the algorithm and all that good stuff. So again, I'd really appreciate it. It makes a big difference in what we're doing here, and certainly encourages us to continue to put forth this sort of effort and effort. I can barely talk. Lips are froze.
This tree is a symbol of the spirit of the Griswold family Christmas.
But yeah, I'm going to hit it again tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be for lake trout. Might go looking for some walleye in a different lake nearby. Haven't been there before. Stay tuned for that. But I need to get back, pack all this mess up and reset for tomorrow. Warm up the gear, charge up everything. It's a real production. Let's just say that. Won't have a heater for the next couple days. Mine's broke, so we'll see how that goes. It's supposed to warm up though, so I might be okay. Well, I'm sure I'll be okay. But again, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time on the Bo Bjarnason YouTube channel. Thank you. Bye.